this is Jacqui Phillips.
Hi, this is Sifu Romain.
Welcome to Reset You Today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Reset. Jacqui, welcome back.
Hi, Sifu. It's so nice to see you.
You too, Jacqui. You know what? I am so excited about tonight's show. You know why?
Why?
Because we have a fellow Caribbean on the line. You know what I mean, man?
Hello, everyone.
I wasn't expecting that. That's
I know you weren't. I could tell by your reaction. Jacqui, why don't you tell everybody about our new guest?
Well, I just am madly in love with this woman, Kristle Haynes. She is a girl after my own heart. I should say woman after my own heart. But, we're all girls in our heart, right? And we need to just rave about each other and just be enthusiastic about each other. And I just adore you because you're so passionate, you're so smart, you're an entrepreneur, you're a go-getter, and you're making your dreams come true. And I witnessed it because I saw the party that you threw for the magazine recently, and your seventh magazine. And I love all about why you call it Seventh Magazine and all about seven, which we'll let you talk about. But you're just so inspirational, and you're going through a major reset right now, which we'll let you talk about as well. But I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. You're an editor-in-chief. You have this amazing magazine, this gorgeous blog. You travel the world. Everything's global. And, you're making it happen. And you're a young woman. So you're just such an inspiration. So thank you for being on our show.
No, thank you so much for having me. And what an introduction. I can't even... I don't even know what to say after that, except thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So tell us your story. Tell us about yourself. How'd you get involved with the magazine? How'd you start a magazine? And what's your reset?
So I'm originally from the Caribbean, St. Martin, as you know,
yes.
Fellow Caribbean. And I actually always wanted to work in magazines. And when I lived in London, I dabbled in it for a little bit. And then when I moved to Dubai from London, I was working with a magazine, and I noticed some of the pros and cons from it. And because I studied business in school, I was like, you know what, I think I know how to approach this this sector, but in a way in which we are moving in the future. So I launched this digital platform known as the Seventh Magazine, and we cover 7 portals, mostly luxury lifestyle. So everything from art and design to creative inspiration, all the way down to fashion, travel, and cuisine. I am so proud of it because I started it, from scratch, just working by myself for just over a year and a half. And it was really something that I put all my time, effort, money, everything into. And now it's grown so much that we have, expanded into actually having a team now. So I don't actually have to do everything myself, which is so great because I just never thought, it would end. So it feels amazing to bring people on that understand the vision, that understand where I want to take it. I have some really cool upcoming people who I would love to have involved in the magazine also, which will be dropping, some press releases about it later this month. So I feel as though that was a path in terms of setting up the actual magazine. However, in terms of my reset, I was supposed to go back to my island in the Caribbean, and I had everything planned out, because usually when I go back for about a month or two, and everything just changed suddenly when the hurricanes hit, and no one was really expecting it to be as bad as it was. And I'm just so glad that everyone has been so resilient, so positive there, and they've really just been, making the best out of a bad situation. They've been coming together. It's been really inspiring to see. But I would say that it did in fact divert my plans entirely. So what ended up happening was I just ended up staying in New York, because I was actually there covering New York Fashion Week in September. And the day I landed, September 6th, was the day that the hurricane hit. So I just ended up prolonging my stay in New York. And I was like, you know what, I am also going to make this, rather uncircumstantial situation into a good one, and perhaps even base my headquarters here, because I was still looking for somewhere to actually host my headquarters. I know the company, I founded in Dubai. However, I just wanted to be somewhere that was more media central. So I was considering to have it in Hong Kong. However, I think New York is definitely a good idea. So here I am.
Well, welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York. Didn't you say it in French, Caribbean man?
I'd have to think about it. So it's pretty interesting about your business. A lot of people, as a coach, a lot of people talk to me about getting into business, and they have a lot of questions around it. I'm curious, how did you just start your business? Did you find it difficult? Did you have challenges growing your business? You've scaled it pretty well. So what was the process like for you?
I would say the process was really difficult in terms of the financial aspect of it, because I was self-financed. I didn't have any bank loans or any business partners or anything of the sort in terms of investors. So in that sense, it was very, very difficult, because not only did you have to bankroll the business, but you also have to bankroll yourself. So it's really tough. But I would say that even though I didn't have anyone necessarily on the Seventh Magazine's team, I always had really, really positive people around me that believed in my ideas. They believed in my vision. They believed in the brand from the very get-go. So a lot of the opportunities that were presented to me were by these, extraordinary people that absolutely were, amazing to even allow me to, be in that luxury space, especially in a new country, in a new city, for a new brand. So I feel as though it would be incorrect if it was to say that it was just myself, because even though I did all of the work, I wouldn't have had that work to be done if the people didn't believe in the vision to begin with.
How did you know that your vision was on point? Everything starts with this little mustard seed, right? And then you check yourself and you're like, this is crazy. Could I even do this? When was the point of the mustard seed to like, I'm going to really go for this, to starting to knock on those doors? Because that's pretty intimidating.
Yes, I would definitely say working in the print publishing sector, you see a lot of the cons and the things to which do not help a business thrive. And I felt as though the print industry was, moving more towards a blockbuster type stage versus I wanted to be more on a Netflix level. So I felt as though learning from other people and other companies' mistakes was definitely a building block for my own, because I was able to see, what direction to take the magazine in with the current market standards and what I believe would be better trend forecasting versus just jumping on the bandwagon.
And you're very smart, and it's a very progressive attitude because, to be global and to be able to have everything online and virtual and all the video, and then you have this beautiful blog, this luxury blog, and you really do cater to all things, which is great because you have like this wide open door of opportunity for not only for yourself, but for all the people that you're going to interview, which is wonderful.
Thank you so much. And absolutely. And I wanted to make it more of an inclusive magazine versus an exclusive magazine. So even though we tailor towards the luxury sector, I wanted everyone to be able to experience the top 7 best lists of different places that, we showcase. I didn't necessarily want to only have a print publication that only certain people can get in certain stores. I wanted it to be readily available on a worldwide basis.
It's kind of like the concept that a lot of designers did when they started getting into makeup and fragrance. You may not be able to buy, a Christian Dior dress, but you can wear the makeup. You have a taste of the luxury.
It's true.
With, out the huge price tag. Now, would you share with our audience why you chose the number 7? Because it has such a beautiful meaning to you, and I think it's very special.
Well, I chose the number 7 because I'm very spiritual, first and foremost. And it is, in fact, the number of perfection. And I just felt as though it's so prominent in our everyday lives, 7 days of the week. So it just feels, as though it's a perfect type of number to include, to cover everything in every aspect of, life.
And there were certain attributes that you liked about it, which you said there was like spirituality, and there were some other things that you had said why you chose 7. So I love that. It's always nice to know the meaning behind the brand because it gives it a different energy.
Absolutely. No, I wanted to create something that was very close to the heart, but not only that, I wanted to be not only inclusive, but very much so something that people could just relate to. So very relatable. And I just thought 7 would just be perfect because it just covers all the bases, really.
Now,
what was? Go ahead, Jacqui.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
What was your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I would say, was financing. I will always say financing because there are certain things that you can't get around the financial aspect of things. So I would say if I had the financing in order, perhaps it wouldn't have been as creative as it is today. So maybe everything, has a specific time and a specific place as to when it will all come together. But from the very beginning, I would definitely say financing, because if I had to choose between myself or the magazine, I would always choose the magazine, always. Wow. And that necessarily isn't a smart move, because you kind of get sacrificed in order for the company to benefit and to be able to progress. So I would say, that would definitely be the main.
Most businesses don't make it because they're undercapitalized. Right in the beginning. So what would you tell young people who are listening to this interview, young women in particular, since you're a great role model, if they wanted to start a business and they were undercapitalized, what would you tell them? How would you tell them to overcome that challenge?
For anyone, women in particular, because women tend to be very, very strong, but in terms of just anyone who's wanting to start a business, wanting to pursue your dreams, I would definitely say you have to pull through. You have to continue and persevere and not give up, because that's definitely the only thing that has kept me going, is the fact that I'm like, no, I've gone so far. This is not where I even see it being. And so I'm not going to give up until I get to that level. And then when I do get to that level, I'll surpass it and I'll have another milestone that I'd like to reach. So I would say not to give up, because it's so much easier to give up. But the uphill battle is so worth it at the end.
And I want to say that I love that you said that, because I'm so guilty of that. Always putting money back into the business, not spending it on myself. Mm-hmm. You know, like I have these friends, they go out all the time. They, you know, they're always having dinners, even like back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I would always be putting the money back into my business, because there's always something you need to do, right?
Absolutely. There's so many things.
Mm-hmm. And so I think if you are a real entrepreneur, you have to have that mindset. You have to have that discipline that you need to pursue, persevere, suffer a little. Like, let's be honest, it's not always like super glamorous, but it's worth it.
No, I completely agree. And, you know, I completely agree with you, Jacqui. And, you know, when I lived in Dubai, one of the things about living there was that in one part, I was living this fabulous life, but that was not necessarily my real life. Like, my real life was struggle and hardship and, you know, trying to put the brand into a niche market that is basically, you know, saturated. So it took a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice. And I really enjoyed it, to be honest, because it really isn't all, you know, rainbows and unicorns. It's definitely so much more hustle, but like in the background. So I think, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
What is your long-term vision?
Yeah.
My long-term vision is to actually have all these 7 portals come alive in some way or form. So I do have my plans and everything set for that. So I'm hoping that everything goes according to plan in the next 5 years. So in 10 years' time, I can start with that long-term vision and hopefully have everything ready in the next 20, 30 years.
And you said you wanted to be like a Netflix. How so? In a comparative way that you could explain to our audience. So
the business model for Netflix isn't at all what it is right now. And I feel as though I'm going to take this company in that same direction, in which I'm going to grow it into something that will be in accordance to what the market needs in the next couple of years, versus continuing just in the publishing sector and only focusing on my time and energy into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you did create this in Dubai, because if you're going to have the luxury, and
you have to be there.
I mean, oh my gosh. That's my dream. You can absolutely my producer, Josh, I'm always like, we have to go to Dubai. We need to see these cars, these old cars. These people have zoos in their backyard. I had a monkey, you know, like all this permanent like glamour. So I just think that's amazing. But I know what you mean about, you know, you're living one way and people perceive you like, oh, you know, her life is so cush and she's like full. And meanwhile, you're up till 5 or 4 or whatever at these events you have to go to. And then you're up because you need to be writing, downloading those pictures, creating
your grind.
Story.
I mean, it was intense, because for the first year and a half, I literally did everything. So everything in terms of editorial, first and foremost, which was already a nightmare. And then you had to do your own marketing, your own PR, your own you have to be the front line. So you have to be the person that attends all the events. You have to go to all the press conferences so you can be there firsthand. You have to do all the interviews, and you have to travel so you can also, do the coverage in the different cities and understand exactly what you're publishing and who you're going to be working with. So you're not just, putting something on a list just because someone is paying you. So it was very much hands-on and a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, but it was all worth it because I was there for a reason. And the reason was because I wanted to be there for that specific luxury sector. And it all worked out so perfectly because the people that I've met there are now lifelong friends. And, every new city that I go to, it's the one thing that I absolutely love, and something that I do cherish is meeting new people and just building new bases. It's difficult when you first go anywhere, when you relocate, because you know no one, and it's a new place and scary, and you just don't know, especially now. So I feel very blessed to be able to actually do what I do, to be completely
You're going to be
honest.
fine wherever you go. You have such a welcoming spirit. Like, everyone will love you and be like, come on.
Thank you so
was
much.
it challenging for you to maintain a sense of spirituality when you're around so much luxury? Like sometimes people, when you think about a luxury lifestyle, you think about nice things, fancy things, but yet, do you feel like it's easy to get sucked into like a materialistic point of view?
I wouldn't say so. Well, not for me, because like I said, I was living this life of, covering things for the actual magazine. And then I was living my life, which was, full of work, hardship, late nights, no personal life whatsoever. So the thing that I think that I held on to the closest was, once again, back to the people, the relationships with the friends and the colleagues and everything, especially for work, because I worked like 24 hours a day. So I surrounded myself with people who also worked as much as I did. And then not only that, the people that I did work with, I formed friendships with those people because I worked too much. So I needed, with these interactions to also be like, and by the way, how is your day also? Like, what are you doing? And how was yesterday? And I just, these are the things that I take with me. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Okay.
What do you want your legacy to be? I mean, I know you're really young, but we all dream and we all have these aspirations. What would your legacy, what would you like it to be?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I said, what would you like your legacy to be? Do you know yet?
My legacy, I just want people to be able to work in certain sectors that they're passionate about, because we all have to work, unfortunately. This is just how the world is set up. But even though I meet so many really extraordinary people, there's people that I meet that hate their jobs. Like, they hate their everyday lives, and they literally only work just for the sake of having money. And by the time they get home, they're so mentally exhausted because they've put so much energy into something that they actually hate, that they can't do anything else. So they just ended up like living these like zombie lives. And life is way too short to ever do anything that you don't want to do. So I would definitely want my legacy to be, someone who represented going after their dreams, regardless of, everything that, prevented any type of progress whatsoever, because there's going to be obstacles in every area of life, and everyone is battling these different problems in their lives that they're not sharing, because not everyone wants to showcase that other life that they're living. They just want to showcase that luxury life, especially now with social media being so prevalent. So I would definitely want people to take from my way of living that, you know, it's okay to live two completely different lives. Like, you can live a life of someone who works really hard and loves what they do also, but you can also live this life of luxury as well.
Nice. Question for you. We're getting low on time, and there's so much we could talk to you about and ask you. Our show is called Reset, though. So what are 3 tips that you would give somebody who's either going through a reset or is about to go through a reset? How could they successfully get through it?
3 tips. The first one would definitely be to have self-awareness. Self-awareness is so important, especially because it's so easy to get lost in translation with everything that we have going on in life. The second tip would be to definitely have focus. So not with self-awareness comes focus, but the determination, the discipline that you need to have, like Jacqui was mentioning earlier, like some of the pressure that you're going to get might actually be coming from the closest people to you. So your peers, you might have to skip that night of going out with them. You might not have to skip a lot of nights with going out with them. So that's definitely something that I would also have a tip as number 2. For number 3, not to give up. So it's always going to be hard. Everyone is going through a battle that, you know, they're not sharing. So I would say to be very strong, resilient, and never give up, and just go for it and go through it. And once you do, you'll realize that it was better than you've even dreamed, and it was amazing, and it was worth it. And I want everyone to be the best version of themselves with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, is there anywhere that you would like people to reach out to all these victims in St. Martin? You know, here you are, Kristle. You've lost everything. You have your own magazine. I mean, you've got to hustle constantly, and now you're starting over because of the hurricane, and you have such a positive attitude. So if anyone learns anything about reset tonight, they should think of you and pray for you and try to be like you, because here you are, you have a smile on your face, and you can be really in a different kind of place if you had a different kind of perspective. So you're such a great role model. But is there anywhere you would like to share, like a charity or something that you know is good in St. Martin that people could donate to?
Absolutely. There's one called, I believe it's K1 Foundation, K1 Britannia, I think that's what it's called in St. Martin. But either way, you'd be able to find it on SXM Strong on Facebook. So you'll be able to assist them there. There was a group in New York actually that did a lot in terms of assisting different things to which the island needed, and they shipped it over. JetBlue was also a really, really amazing sponsor. They helped with the relief system there, and I was so grateful for them with the partnership that we have. So I would say K1 definitely. And if they want to, you know, reach out to me personally, they can always reach out to me from the7thmagazine.com also.
Okay.
That's awesome. Great.
Well, we want to have you back.
Yes, I want to come back. I want to come back. Next time I come back, it'll be better in terms of the surroundings. But
I think it's a beautiful bronze tree, it looks like.
Yes. Trying to be.
Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for being on our show, yes.
No, thank you for having me.
if people want to follow you, if they want to read your magazine, can you just give them the tags and the handles that they should follow before we go?
Absolutely. So it's the Seventh Magazine with the number 7th, and our Instagram handle and Facebook handle are all on at the Seventh Magazine, and YouTube as well. And we'll be on the7thmagazine.com. So you can reach out to me directly if you have any questions, or if you'd like to send any support to St. Martin, I'll put you in touch with the people that will be better able to assist you with that as well.
Well, thank you, Kristle Haynes. You're amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Jacqui, for our audience, remember,
reset
because you deserve it.